for a special occasion.
For who they call their son now.
Destiny impatient.
for Team Signaton! Sneaky volley! And I get the back for it! Quadra kill for Meteos!
Welcome back to our spring split quarterfinals. Two more teams take the stage tonight to fight for our last spot in the semifinals. Fans are out in droves to support their favorite team, CLG versus FlyQuest tonight. Here's CLG in their ready room just moments ago, preparing to walk on stage. Lemonation and the rest of FlyQuest making their way into the arena just a short time ago as well. And here he is on stage, the man himself, Lemon, the support. Getting ready for the game today, but we had a moment to talk to him earlier about what it would mean to yet notch another belt or another championship into the belt and on a different organization. Take a look.
Winning the entire split would be, you know, godlike. It'd be amazing. So, and we're not far from that. You know, it's just 3 matches compared to the regular split. That's not very much. If we, you know, are able to pull off a godlike performance and win just 3 matches, then we're gods. We've won the whole thing.
Simple as that. They're gods. They've won the whole thing. Speaking of gods, I'm James Dash Patterson alongside Mark Zimmerman and Aiden Zyrene Moon. How does it feel to be here for playoffs?
Like a god, because when I talk, my voice comes down from the skies. There's a crowd of people who will do whatever I tell them.
Exactly.
Applause! Applause! You didn't say anything.
I love it, I love it, I love it. There's a lot of energy in the building today. But to what Lemonation said here, Zyrene, let's talk about what it would mean for these guys, himself, High and Balls, to achieve yet another championship here in the North American LCS, but on a completely different organization.
It would be crazy. And like he said, they would be gods if they actually were the team to represent North America at MSI and won 3 matches. And even if they don't do that, though, make no mistake, these guys are legends. Those 2 Cloud9 championships that they have back there on the wall, those are theirs. So no matter what happens, they walk away pretty much heroes.
And will always be remembered as some of the most dominant League of Legends that we've seen here in the North American LCS. Of course, yesterday we saw Phoenix won 3-0 against Dignitas to earn their spot against C9 next week, which makes our match today, CLG versus FlyQuest, the determining match for who will play TSM. Of course, later tonight, stick around for NALCS tonight with myself, Jat, and Zyrene, where we'll talk about all the weekend's happenings, yesterday's series, today's as well, and what we're looking forward to next week. But as well, over on NALCS 2 Shot Caller stream with Jat, Meteos, and Smoothie on how Aframu and High control the map. And I find this particularly interesting because we had a chance to speak to Aframu earlier in the split, and he mentioned that playing against Mata and High, those are the 2 hardest shot callers to play against. Here he's got to do a 5-game series against High, the man himself.
And one of the things that makes such a great shot caller is they always know what to do at all points, and you never have those games where you're stalling or resetting and going, what are we resetting for? They always know what they're working towards.
A big thing about that is when you're playing against them, you have a moment to usually think like, okay, we have flashes down on these guys. I'm power spiking with this item soon. Can we stall it to them? But when you play against great shot callers, you don't have that extra moment to try and collect your thoughts and figure out what the next step is.
Right, and these are just 2 of the many veterans that are sitting on the stage here today. We have 8 out of the 10 players who are playing today have an NALCS title. These are 8 champions playing today for their chance just to move on to the semis.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, too. Counterlogic Gaming, even just last year, exact same roster were able to take a championship, and now they're trying to get another one here. But you talk about there's 8 here, so I want to talk about the 2 guys I'm really looking at under a microscope today, Moon and Altec, because these are 2 guys that in high-pressure situations have actually choked previously, and I'm looking at that there. What up, man?
I don't know if he knows what you're talking about.
But that's the thing, is Moon has had such a great split that it's interesting. I really want to see if this carries over.
Can't hear what you're saying. He just knows.
Yeah, he heard Moon. Doesn't know what you're saying. Might have some jitters. But just to touch on the veteran point real quickly, one thing I love about League of Legends is the fact that veteran doesn't mean slow. In a lot of traditional sports, when a team's a veteran team, that means that they have a slow, cerebral approach to the game and kinds of things like that. But both these teams are super aggressive despite being veterans and long-standing members of the esports scene.
And I think that's what's really cool about these 2 shot callers. We talk about they're really great, but I feel like Aframu's shot calling, early, it's objective focused. Later, it's team fight focus. It's how you approach those fights and set them up. Whereas High is inverse. He knows when to fight early, and then later he knows how to play the map and split push.
All right, so both teams have a plethora of experience across their lineups, but I want to know who you guys think is going to walk away with the win here to move on and face TSM next week. Mark, starting with you.
I'm going to start with CLG. I think one of the things that goes in their favor here is that they play a lot of different styles. I know FlyQuest has a lot of different looks. We've seen them pick any champion that seems that
good or bad.
Yeah, they find it, they play it. But CLG has better strategy around those. So if they want to play the more split push style with Darshan, with Trundle and things like that going off, I think they can play that style better, as well as having a better late game carry in Stixay, who they can play like Orianna comps around, which I'm not sure you'll see the same thing out of FlyQuest.
Yeah, I feel like their laners right now are just doing a lot better overall for Counter Logic Gaming. But FlyQuest, the kind of trump card here for me is Moon in the jungle. If he doesn't have those nerves, he would most likely outperform Xmithy, who's second most deaths in the entire league. But given all of that, I still give the edge to Counter Logic Gaming.
Just to touch quickly on your point about the deaths in the league, this is one thing that might swing it a little back in FlyQuest's favor, despite the fact that we're both going with CLG. Is both these teams are the two bloodiest teams in the league. If you look at their combined kills and deaths per minute, they are #1 and #2. But the big difference is CLG is under a 1 kill death ratio, which means they die more than they get kills, whereas FlyQuest is even. So if it gets to be really, really bloody.
So I really like this because it's like we're both predicting Counter Logic Gaming, but we both know when you underestimate this. So we're like, FlyQuest, they're doing a little bit better. This, that, Moon, maybe he can pop off. As soon as you start believing in Counter Logic Gaming, that's going to let you down. So maybe.
Well, and I think we have to talk a lot about, trends and how the teams looked at the end of the split, right? Of course, we know that FlyQuest exited the regular season in a 2-0, so a little bit of an uptick there, but struggles for the team prior to that. And so I think a lot of people will be pointing at kind of those crazy picks and wondering whether or not they're going to enter the best of 5 with a more reserved, kind of strategy, saying let's play more the meta style and rely on that experience and maybe the shot calling of High up against CLG.
I think the pick ban phase will be an extremely important one. I mean, you look at the fact that LeBlanc has come flying back into the meta, and that's something that High has always been extremely good at. So if he gets his hands on LeBlanc, starts forcing bans out there, those kinds of things can crop up and maybe grab a couple games.
There's also been some teasers, too, from Stixay talking about, like, maybe Twitch, maybe Tristana on Twitter.
We saw Twitch in vain in the EU LCS today, so
Yeah.
I would love to see a couple of those crazy picks making their way over to the NALCS as well. Both of these guys here voting for CLG real quick. I want to know what the audience here in the studio thinks is going to come with a victory. We got a FlyQuest.
Oh, damn.
Oh, all right, hey. There's passion. That's all I care about. There's passion. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you at home as well, so make sure you tweet us at LOL Esports. Let us know how you LCS with the hashtag HowILCS. As you can see, we get to do it on the stage. Pretty sweet setup, and we'll move back to our big screens.
Oh, they don't keep us
on.
out here during the games?
No, I wish.
What am I doing?
We would be too distracted.
Yeah,
right?
my neck looking at that screen. No.
No, anyway, all right. That's going to do it for the Twitter announcements. Time to send it over to the casters, though. Get the games underway.